Hey, I got some questions for you. Do you want to be able to confidently teach drums? Do you want to get your current drum and percussion students to a much higher level? Do you need to know where to begin with like a plan on how to teach percussion and drums and everything that falls under that category? So why hasn't that happened for you yet? Come on, admit it. This isn't the first time you've probably tried to find solutions on how to be an excellent drum and percussion teacher, but it's just hard to nail that down, isn't it? So when you watch this video all the way to the end, you're going to discover exactly what it takes to be an excellent drum and percussion teacher. My name is Karen Janaszewski. A lot of people call me Kay. And not too long ago, actually it's kind of been a long time ago now, I was just like you. I had just recently graduated college with my master's degree in music education. And I was hired like right back where I started teaching. That's in high school. But I had to replace this time a band teacher who also taught strings, who also taught piano, who also taught like everything. Okay, that's fine. That's what I was now able to do, or so I thought. And in that initial group of students was a drummer. He was young, but he'd already been taking lessons for a little while. And I was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna go. And I was struggling. I only had one semester of drum pedagogy that I had taken throughout those 5.5 years that I was in college. And I wasn't really sure what to do with them. And I was getting more and more frustrated with what the next step was going to be. Okay, he should know this, but he wants to learn this, but he really needs to get better with this. And it was really tough. So all the time, I just kept having to figure out what I was doing. I didn't know what was next. Then something really bad happened. The student quit, and I thought it was me. And maybe it was. And it also meant that I couldn't refine my plan either. So, as you can imagine, I was in bad shape and kind of desperate because I knew I'd have to teach more drums in the future. And I wasn't really ready to give up on my dream with actually having percussion students that I'd have to teach and drummers that sounded clean and advanced. And the problem was, I didn't know how to be an excellent drum and percussion teacher. I already was actually quite good with snare drum and rudiments, and I was playing things at a high school level just because I liked it. I enjoyed it. So like, why weren't my students able to get where I was and know what I knew and didn't know? What didn't I know, right? It's kind of a tricky place to be in. The world of percussion is just so vast. And I needed to learn how to teach every single drummer, percussion player, every need that they would have in a foolproof way. And that's when I knew I had to make a change. So first, I just tried sticking to teaching snare out of the method book. It taught skills, but it wasn't really that motivating. That wasn't going to work at all. I even tried teaching drum set just by rote. And honestly, that was really, really narrow approach. This is when I got like other drum students over the years. I also tried splitting lesson time between snare and set, and that worked a little bit better. And that's when I tried to find a balanced method between skills, and that actually worked. But like, is that everything? What if mallets are in the mix? What if students are coming and they need to learn this for their school? There's a lot, And that's when I realized it wasn't my fault. I was failing, at least in my own perception, because people say that there's only one best way to learn drums. I kept hearing that. I kept reading that, whenever I go to research things on my own. No wonder I was struggling. And for years, I kept seeing that, which means they want others to believe that you can be a pro drummer without reading. And when I figured out and realized, okay, that's not true. That's not how you're meant to teach people. I was finally able to break out of that and just form my own mindset. And that's when I started getting the results out of my students that I deserved and that especially they deserved. Okay? As a music teacher, you deserve to see that too. So I'm going to be sharing all that with you with this course. So careful and beware of people that say that there's only one best way to learn drums. That just plain isn't true. And if you're teaching at a school, not just at a studio, you know that reading is essential, and that now there's a gazillion different facets and different things that your percussionists need to know to cover all your needs in your program. So once I realized and figured out how this balanced method all works, that's when my students really started getting the results. I discovered that I could have students that had really good, strong literacy skills and at the same time a very good ear for music. I help them excel in other areas of percussion as they need. Like just in this last year, I've had to teach a lot of mallets because suddenly that's what they gotta know. And I got all this to work with their school programs, their school program needs, including jazz ensemble needs, marching band, concert band, general music type of situations. They wouldn't need to know that to prepare for general music, but I have a few students that express interest in learning things that a really strong general music percussion curriculum would have. And then mallets, of course, certainly, which, for some that's very, very challenging. I didn't realize it, but it started when I simplified the process on how to be this excellent drum and percussion teacher. And it also helps that, after when I refined it and started teaching it to others, that even they were able to start confidently teaching drums as well, get their drum students to actually a very high level. Because at my studio, it's not just my students doing awesome. I have 2 other staff members that are teaching drums as well, and their students are starting to do really well too. So the crazy plan is working. So then also knowing how to begin. How do you get that new drummer started off on the right foot or hand? So that's why I created this course, Teaching Drums for the Non-Drummer. So this is for the music teacher that your main instrument was not drums, and suddenly you need to teach drums, whether it's at a studio situation or in the school setting, school band setting, okay? There's a lot of people responsible for teaching drummers that were not percussion majors, and that's okay as long as you know how you're supposed to do it and how to get your students and reach them with the maximum effectiveness, okay? So this took about 15 years to create, and it cost me a lot of time in lessons during drum lesson planning, a lot of trial and error. And you know what? No student deserves to be that student that's part of the trial and error. Every single student deserves to have that clean method that they're being instructed under. So let's get you there a bit quicker, okay? So basically after these bunch of years of refining what it is that I do for my students, now basically what used to take a few years for them to get good only takes a few months, and it's pretty amazing. So here's a sample of what you get out of this course. Demonstrations and discussions of the essential skills that drummers need so that you won't waste your time guessing on what to teach. Explanations of the best published resources out there so that you can know that your teaching resources are going to get use. They're not just going to sit there on a shelf, but you're going to go back and you're going to refer to them. And you're going to pull examples on what your students need, what you see that they are going to need to learn, and what they request as well. Hey, I want to learn how to play a samba. Great, it's in here, and all those questions that your students are going to have along the way. You're going to be able to watch course module videos that focus on the roles of percussion in different types of ensembles so that you know how to confidently implement and teach percussionists what they need to know to get it done. You're also going to get access to the privately mediated group for the course so that you can bounce ideas off of other music teachers that also are taking this course with you, and those that have also finished the course so that, after they've implemented some things, hopefully they're going to come back and report all that good stuff to you too, so that you can see and learn from their mistakes and accomplishments what you can do next also. And you'll also be able to see demonstrations of all those tricky snare rudiments and examples of how to get certain things done, okay? So that, maybe it's been a long time since you've gotten that instruction in college and you need a refresher on what a flam is or what certain paradiddles and different rudiments all are, okay? So I'll be going over that with you as well. You'll also receive your certificate at the end of the course as proof of your time spent so that you can get professional development credit hours as required by your state. So, take a look at this. Now, if you weren't a percussion major, there's probably a shortcoming in your instruction somewhere with your percussion students, okay? Maybe there's one thing or a few things that you struggle on a little bit more than some of the other things that you already teach. Maybe it's snare rudiments, maybe it's methods, mallets. Maybe your mallet students are just like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. No, it does not have to be hard, trust me. Drum set technique. Like sometimes drum set seems overwhelming, especially if you haven't really spent a whole lot of time with that. But really, drum set only gets so hard. And usually by the time it gets really hard, usually drummers can figure it out themselves, actually. Or if there's something really, really high level, then you'll know the moment on which you can pass them off to somebody who specializes in that, okay? But you can get actually pretty far with them, just understanding the basics that you get in this course. It also will make it simpler for you to know exactly what you need to know, that you need to be able to play in order to demonstrate and to get your students to a decently advanced level. I like to say maybe high school, okay? And you'll be able to teach them how to read it so that they don't feel held back by that, okay? So let me ask you another question. Would you like to get access to teaching drums for the non-drummer? For less than your weekly grocery bill, you can get access to like everything inside the course Teaching Drums for the Non-Drummer. Now, while it's impossible for me to show you everything in just this video, I do want to let you know about the list of things that you would get in this course package, which by the way is forever. Like it doesn't go away, it doesn't expire. It's not like you only have limited time to access it. No, you take as long as you take and you keep it so that you can go back and refer to it. You get 11 course modules, all videos. Some of the modules have more than one video, some just have one to get it done. You get the privately moderated group, so that way you have access to me to ask questions, which actually you would anyways via email. I'd be your instructor, and even though I'm not there live teaching you the course, you have a question that's not being answered, you let me know, okay? The must-get resources that will not waste your money and that will simplify your search for answers and examples. So I actually go through the method books and some other resource books and let you know what they are. There's a bibliography at the end, so that way you can stick to about a half dozen different things. So I'll take you through those so that you see what they're all about, so that you're not like, well, I'll get this, but I can't see what's on page 42, you know? Okay, so you'll be able to see. And you also get the certificate at the end after you pass the final exam. Alright, so there's also some bonuses. From this, you get to make yourself more marketable as a music teacher. Whether it's teaching in your school, you get to expand the availability of what kind of ensembles you're able to do. Maybe your school never had a jazz ensemble, or hasn't in a while, because maybe somebody didn't know what to do with that. But after this, you're like, oh, okay, this was my missing piece, now I can do it. Or maybe your school wants a marching band, and you're like, drumline though. No, you'd be fine. Budget money limitations is kind of a real thing, right? So maybe they can't hire a percussion specialist to help you with that. This would actually help you with it. You would know what you're getting into, you know what you need to be prepared, okay? So this will help you a lot with that. So it makes you a better and more marketable music teacher for a program, or a program you're looking to get into upon being hired. So something like this you'd be able to put on a resume. Also, if you're looking to be hired at a studio, now you'd feel a lot more comfortable taking upon those students, okay? Maybe they're having a tough time finding a drum teacher, somebody that's able to step in and take on a few students, or expand the position in the studio to include drums. Oh, there you go. You'll be able to make more money, take on more students, teach more things, give yourself a little bit more variety in your job. This is infinite value we're talking about here. And then many private lessons worth of professional instruction from me, okay? So even though, this course is only so many hours, I teach you on the expedited level that a music teacher should be able to handle. So basically the material you get is broken down into maybe years worth of lessons for your students, especially at the snare drum level, okay? And then if you are like, oh, okay, well, I got this drummer, wants to learn snare, wants to read, wants to do drum set, wants to do mallets, that's years of instruction, okay? So also infinite value. Like I said, you get email access with me in case you have any additional questions. I'd be happy to ask. Everybody's situations are different, and like I said, percussion is vast. So it's knowledge and skills that you implement, and that you implement for the entire duration of your career. If all this does was show you how to have a percussion, session with drummers that sound clean and advanced, it's so much more than that. Would it be worth it to you? If all this did was help you stop worrying that if you're doing a good job teaching percussion and be like, yeah, I'm all set. This got everything earned out for me, and now suddenly every day teaching in your career just feels a lot smoother because you're not dreading teaching percussion. Like, wouldn't that be worth it for you? Of course. Want some even better news? I'm not going to charge you that infinite value that I say that this is worth. Instead, the base price for this right now is only $137. And sometimes there's promotions going on to make it even less. All right. So this is my future drummer guarantee. If teaching drums for the non-drummer doesn't show you exactly how to be able to confidently teach drums, if it doesn't take you by the hand in a step-by-step way to get your drum students to a higher level, or if it fails to help you know where to begin with a plan to teach percussion, then you'll just receive a full refund. No questions asked. Just tell me your concerns and read our refund policy on the Uplevel U Music webpage, and yeah, you'll see. This will be just fine, and it'll be exactly what you need, especially with this long description here that I'm giving you. Is this right for you, right? So, but you must act now, because when you teach and go to work tomorrow, you may have this sudden challenge that you maybe wouldn't be able to handle with your drummers, or maybe it just feels like you're doing trial and error with them. Like, do you have that plan? Do you know what you need to do tomorrow when you need to teach them? Or is it like, I hope this is going to be okay? You don't want to waste any more time, money, or stressed out thoughts just figuring this out for yourself. Wouldn't you just like to just know what to do? And a student that doesn't think they're learning that you have maybe on the verge of quitting, and you don't know that yet. Like, that could be somebody's thoughts in the background that you don't know about. So let's cut that risk, and let's get you all set, ready to go. Just imagine what it would be like to know that you are an excellent drum and percussion teacher. So click on the registration link for the course at Uplevel U Music, and that's through musicroombuffalo.com/uplevel-u-music. .com came after Music Room Buffalo /uplevel-u.music, and it's in the courses once you enter, and yep, it'll be right there ready for you to purchase. Okay, that's all you got to do. And once you put in all your information, it's just pretty much like the payment information and your email address. You'll be taken to the secure order form through there. It's just like any kind of transaction that you would make through any website, all secure and encrypted and all that. And immediately you'll be able to access the course, Teaching Drums for the Non-Drummer. Okay, but I got a warning for you. Let me be real blunt. If you pass on this offer, will you totally succeed in the way of teaching percussion and drums? Just kind of weigh your options. What's the exchange here? Okay, so get this course now, and remember, you get all of those bonuses. You get the access to the group. You also will be able to make yourself more marketable as a drum and percussion teacher in your school and your studio. And you get all those private lessons worth of professional instruction from me, how to break it down to your students. Okay, trust me, this value for this course is infinite. What it would mean for your future as a music teacher is just unbelievable. All right, so I look forward to seeing you there. I look forward to seeing your name on the registration for me, and you can start it and finish it in however much time, and access to it is ongoing forever. All right, so please sign up if you think that this is right for you, and I will see you there.